You know why God made snakes before lawyers? He needed the practice. Strictly gainful employment, and in 10 months, poof, I'm a lawyer again.
Why don't you stop running a game on me and just tell me about the job?
Step into my office.
Fair? Let's talk about fair.
I decide what he deserves. Wish me luck!
Hey guys, Kiwi here. In this video, I'll be breaking down the second promo trailer for Better Call Saul Season 4, the Season 4 premiere official teaser. With that being said, major warning of spoilers for everything in the show up to the Season 3 finale, and let's jump right into this. So I woke up yesterday or the day before and went on Twitter and saw that Peter Gould actually tweeted an Entertainment Weekly article with the trailer on it. Now it's also on the AMC YouTube channel now, so link will be in the description, but anyways, the trailer starts with Jimmy cracking a joke about lawyers being snakes, but who is he talking to? Jimmy is still suspended from the law for a year, so what kind of deal is he trying to make here? Well, if we take a look at the promo images recently released for Season 4, there's actually two images of Jimmy in this exact room. The first just shows him standing by the door, most likely as he is leaving, while the second promo actually shows who he is talking to. I have no clue why Jimmy is talking to these two people, but I don't believe we've ever seen them before. I believe that Jimmy talking to them actually relates to the following line that we hear him say when he says, strictly gainful employment, and then in 10 months, poof, I'm a lawyer again. So gainful employment is the name of the trailer, and you can Google the term gainful employment if you want to add more context to the situation, but as far as I'm aware, it pretty much refers to an employment situation where the employee receives steady work and payment from the employer. So is this all just a fancy way of Jimmy saying that he's going to try and find a steady job for the next 10 months until he's a lawyer again? So what kind of consistent work will he be doing? It'll all probably ultimately work towards the day that he becomes a lawyer again, right? Also, considering in multiple clips we see that Kim's arm is still recovering, we're getting an idea that the beginning of Season 4 isn't really doing a big time skip or anything, which I was honestly expecting. There's always room to manipulate the timeline later on in the season or just in the future in general, but for now it seems like the beginning of Season 4 will continue to show the direct aftermath of Season 3 as much as it is setting itself up for whatever Season 4 has in store for us. In my opinion, this show has gotten a lot better and better every season, and with the show creators stating that Season 4 is darker and more like Breaking Bad than ever before, I'm very excited. Moving on, we see Jimmy in a tracksuit walking down the street with some sort of package. Last time we saw him in a tracksuit, he was pulling off a scheme with Irene, and that actually really didn't turn out well, so what's he doing here? Is he doing another Slip-in Jimmy heist? We later see him leaning over as he talks through a car window to some bald and large looking fellow, but what is Jimmy up to here? Again, taking a look at one of the promo images for Season 4, we're revealed with a little bit more context. We see Jimmy with 4 packages or boxes or whatever he has there walking past a few guys who look like they'd be in a motorcycle gang. So is that person in the red car one of the members of this group, or is Jimmy just walking past them? What is Jimmy doing with what appears to be a motorcycle gang, and why is he talking to one in the back of a car if he is involved? What office is Jimmy talking about when he says step into my office? Is this really Slip-in Jimmy returning to con them, or what? Maybe he's unable to acquire enough of a paycheck during his suspension to keep up with his quality of life, so he resorts to Slip-in Jimmy tactics in his spare time? If so, this will most likely complicate things with Kim if Jimmy once again takes things too far. Just at the end of Season 3, Jimmy learned his lesson of not screwing over anyone who doesn't deserve it, like Irene. So do these people deserve it in Jimmy's eyes? Oh, also as a side note, I'm planning on creating a breakdown video of all the promo images recently released, but for now I'm just mentioning the ones that seem to be related to this trailer. Next up, we see someone breaking into what looks like a photocopy store. So first off, I believe that this is actually a misdirection meant to mislead us into thinking that this is the same store where Jimmy switched those numbers back in Season 2, and then Chuck collapsed and hit his head. Considering that this store seems to be attached to a parking garage, I don't think it's the same place that we saw in Season 2, since we know that Jimmy had to run across the street to save Chuck when he hit his head. I instead think that this place is actually the same building with the office that we saw Jimmy talking to those guys in earlier. So is this Jimmy's real plan to have a meeting with them and gather some information about their office, and then have someone like maybe Mike breaking in after hours to take whatever Jimmy needs? So who are these people and what does Jimmy want from them? But speaking of Mike, next we see him talking to who I believe is Gus, and he says, "Why don't you stop running the game with me and just tell me about the job?" Straight to business like always, classic Mike. Now I can't tell if they're actually at Los Pollos or if that's just a Los Pollos truck beside them, but regardless, it's a nice little tease at Mike further involving himself in Gus's business. The trailer then cuts to Gus outside looking at his watch, but what is he waiting for? Also, is this the same scene from the first trailer where he gets a call on his phone but tells them that now is not a good time? Moving on, we get a brief shot of the Salamanca twins walking over a hill in the desert. I'm not sure what they're doing together, but they're obviously up to no good like usual. Actually, most of the clips we've seen of them, they've been split up doing different things, so this is one of the first shots that we see of them together, I believe, for season 4. We briefly saw them in a previous season threatening Mike's granddaughter, but it seems like they'll definitely be playing a larger role in this show this season. Now I wanted to take a moment and briefly discuss this short clip of Nacho walking with Gus behind him, because I believe this is the same night as Hector having his stroke. Does this mean that the season 4 premiere will literally start off during the same night as the season 3 finale, just like how season 2 and season 3 kinda lapped over? Will we see any more with Chuck's house burning down, or will we only see Gus and Nacho from that same night? If they're focusing more on Gus and Nacho from the same night, it must be important, right? Will Gus confront Nacho about Hector sooner than I thought? I figured that they'd wait a day or two or maybe even a week to contact each other, but they may talk things out right then and there. Oh, and we also see the clip of the 4 henchmen meeting up to distribute the drugs between Gus and the Salamancas, but if you want more of an elaboration on that, feel free to check out my previous video where I originally broke it down. But just a bit of a side note, in that original video I said that all of these people except Nacho are from Breaking Bad, when in fact Arturo was never in Breaking Bad as well. That being said, it's nice seeing Victor and Tyrus in the prequel show as well, as their familiar faces from Breaking Bad, but whenever I look at Victor, I just can't help but think of that infamous box cutter scene. And now, due to the previous trailer and all the promo images released, we're already aware that Nacho and one of the Salamanca twins are out to create some sort of bloodbath, but I also questioned, what about the other twin? Well, now we have our answer, kind of. We see the other twin with Victor approaching what I think is the same car that we saw in the previous trailer, getting its window shot out and set on fire. We see one of the twins cocking his gun, so that's probably the gun that they used to shoot out the windows. Next, we see Gus talking to what looks like someone inside of a vehicle. I want to say that this is Gus the same night that Hector had his stroke, but that does not look like Nacho that he's talking to. So who is it and what's the deal here? This guy kinda looks like he could fit in with that group of bikers that Jimmy was talking to earlier, but I'm not sure. And then to close out the trailer, we get more scenes of the shootout with Nacho and the Salamanca twin, along with Jimmy leaving Kim's house saying, "Wish me luck." He seems to be waving some sort of can in the air, but it might be involved in whatever he's going to. I'm not too sure what it is. It could have just been something that he was talking about. On an unrelated note, the trailer shows Kim actually yelling at Howard for one reason or another. Is she taking out all the bullshit that she's been through recently on him? Maybe they're even talking about Chuck's fate? Either way, as far as I'm aware, I don't think that Howard should really be getting screamed at right now. He's done nothing but try and help out both Jimmy and Chuck, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see how the conversation unfolds. Kim is normally a very restrained person, so there must be something to make her snap like that. Finally, I wanted to end off the video with a crazy fan theory about Nacho that I really hope isn't true, because Nacho is my favorite character original to Better Call Saul. First off, on the subreddit someone mentions how it's unrealistic that there's a smartphone way back in the early 2000s. Now it's possible that it's not a touchscreen and just not a flip phone because the phone's face down so you can't even see the screen. Now personally I recall having a touch phone Android in the mid to late 2000s, but early 2000s may be a bit of a stretch. That being said, the smartphone isn't even the main subject at hand. Look at the person, looking at the shirt on the dead body in the same clip as the phone. Someone else on the thread accused this of actually being Nacho himself. Comparing the photos provided, I won't lie, they actually seem similar if not the same shirt that Nacho's wearing, but would they actually spoil that in the promo trailer? Also, this trailer is supposed to tease the premiere episode for Season 4, implying that everything we see will probably happen in the first episode or so of Season 4, so there's no way that they'd actually kill off Nacho at the beginning of the season, right? If this is Nacho, there's a possibility that it's some sort of dream sequence where maybe Nacho imagines getting hunted down by the Salamancas for what he tried to do to Hector, but I feel like seeing Nacho die in a dream sequence will definitely be a bit of a cop-out. So, is this actually Nacho? And if so, is this his death scene? There's also the possibility that it is him, but maybe he's perfectly fine, just laying down. Maybe that blood isn't from him and just someone that he was fighting or having a gunfight against. Maybe I'm just in denial, I don't know. If this conspiracy actually spirals out of control, I may elaborate on it by creating a second video specifically focusing on all the possibilities of Nacho dying, but again, let me know what you guys think. I'd appreciate a like on the video if you've enjoyed anything I've said today, as it really helps me out more than you could ever imagine. Feel free to subscribe for more Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad content in the near future, and if you'd like to take that extra step in helping support my videos, consider checking out my Patreon as well. There's a bunch of different rewards involving the channel, such as a chance to directly influence the videos being produced, link in the description. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter, link also in the description. I'm fairly active on there as well. Even when I'm not posting videos, I'm always retweeting anything and everything I can involving both The Walking Dead and the Better Call Saul universe. But anyways guys, as always, I thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out!